It wants to. Okay. Hey,
Howard is a child.
What are you laughing at my ass?
I was kind of laughing at Hussein, but I don't know. Everybody was looking.
I was laughing at Jack. He's like, all right, we're going to start it. The indecisiveness guy.
We're having so many technical difficulties right now, but so Jack, is it ready? All right, we're live right now. I'm assuming we're live. Jack didn't say anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zero Disrespect podcast. My video is being really weird. Hopefully you all can hear me. Wyatt, John, Casey, I'm very hearable right now, right?
Absolutely, sir.
All right. Well, I'm like the Internet Explorer right now. Y'all are the Safari and Google Chrome. So so let's get this started. I'm Isaac Calvert, the host of the Zero Disrespect podcast, along with my co-host Wyatt Oxley. And we have some special guests joining us today in honor of National Siblings Day. We have our favorite guests, the Wilkins brothers, Casey and John.
Hello. What's up?
How's it going, guys? And we also have Jack behind the scenes doing all the audio and stuff and getting all this live stream. So we appreciate all he does for us. Don't mind the criminal if you can see him. That's just Jack's picture on there, and I don't know. So, but guys, it's wonderful to have you guys here joining us for the Zero Disrespect podcast, the Zoom Disrespect podcast, you might want to call it. So we just I really appreciate you guys joining me, and let's just talk some sports. However, let's go around around the little square and just say what we're doing. So let's start off with Wyatt. Let's see what's going on in Jasper, Indiana, Wyatt.
Mostly just been doing a lot of homework. I've been helping around the house. We got a new puppy. It's actually kind of funny because we named him Brutus, and my mom told me not to say bad words around him because whenever he pees on the floor or gets into something, I'll say, Brutus, damn it. And she says not to do that because then she doesn't want me to she doesn't want him to think that's his middle name. And so
Brutus, damn it.
Yeah.
When he's in trouble, just Brutus, damn it.
But yeah. No, I've just been doing school, hanging out. I started watching Lost. There was 18, well, not 18, but there's 1 million episodes of it. And so if you want to pass time, watch that show.
Both the Wilkins brothers find that amusing. What's their thing with
the story behind that?
Brandon
Wright with the word lost and Wyatt. They go together.
I forgot about that. I guess it seems fitting. It's only fitting that I like the show Lost.
Oh man, what are the Wilkins brothers?
A little blast from the past.
What's going on in my other fellow 270 region, Bowling Green, Kentucky? What's happening over there?
Well, right now for me, it's been kind of tough because what I want to do with my future career, I've been kind of on hold due to the virus. So I've been just kind of online training for UPS, and it's about all I can do right now. I can't really do much, so it's kind of just staying low and trying to entertain myself. That's about what's going on for me.
Yeah, it's rough out there right now. I currently lost my job with the SEC, so I also had to face some hardships as well. John, how are you doing though?
I'm doing good. Just taking online classes. Projects are coming up soon, and then also I'm working shifts at Baskin Robbins, making splits, going out to the cars. We have to go serve them curbside, so I have to serve people at their cars. So
how many Demigorgon Sundays?
I'm Bowling Green. I'll serve you. You'll have a close-up encounter with me.
How many Demigorgon Sundays have you sold?
Buster won't stop saying that. We don't make those. Stranger Things promotion's done. Doesn't happen.
Stranger Things promotion is done.
That was last summer.
That's good. It's good though. It's good. I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. It's been crazy times here recently, in the world, especially, in the United States, not preferably, that's the wrong choice of words. Anyway, it's just been bad. And, so it's just really good to, come back and do the podcast yet again because, Monday, Kentucky should have won the NCAA March Madness Championship. Should have had their 9th ring. We would be celebrating on State Street on Monday night. However, that did not happen. So we're currently in our own homes. Hopefully, everybody's social distancing. But it's just I'm glad to have you guys back and do the podcast again. So it was a good way to spend time with people. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's start with with Kentucky, how their season ended. So we previewed the Florida basketball game. That was a close one, obviously, and it was quite a way. It was literally a month ago. So it's been a while. It was a great way to end the season.
I'm back for the ages.
Yeah, Kentucky came back down by, I think, what was it, 21 at one point, and
like 18 or something.
Yeah, it was spectacular. Spectacular comeback. Showed a lot of resiliency, and we were getting really excited for the SEC tournament. However, that did not happen. So season ended right there. So as of right now, we have Ashton Hagans and formerly Khalil Whitney. He signed with a free agent today, or with an agent today to go to the draft. And we also have Tyrese Maxey. So we have 3 former Kentucky basketball players going to the draft. Wyatt, I want to get your thoughts first on this, and we'll go down to the Wilson brothers.
I can't say I'm surprised that Tyrese Maxey went ahead and went to the NBA. I think that he was the most consistent scorer on the team. Lights out from 3, and like I said, I'm not surprised that he left. Khalil Whitney.
We got a lot of stuff to say about this.
I don't understand because he didn't make it at Kentucky. What makes him think he's going to make it in the NBA? I think why didn't he just transfer somewhere else? I heard that he was thinking about going to University of Illinois in his home state.
Yeah,
I think that would have made sense for him because the Illini had a good year this year, and they were probably going to be a good team for the next couple of years. I'm surprised he didn't transfer there. I guess he just assumes, maybe I'll take my shot at the G League or, try to move my way up. But I would be very surprised if he got drafted. I really would. I think he might be like a free agent pickup or something. But as far as Ashton Hagans, I get why he went. I do. But I thought, and, Isaac, you and I have talked about this a lot. I didn't think Ashton Hagans was consistent enough. I thought he was too much of a turnover machine to go this year.
Yeah, but, I mean, that goes without saying, too. As good as he was defensively, he was like the Jameis Winston of NCAA. He made a lot of good plays, but he made a lot worse ones, too. A lot more too, so.
Wasn't it I think during some of their games this year, it was either the announcers or one of you guys would always be 95, 96, 97. And I couldn't figure out why.
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. I couldn't figure out why you were doing that until he kept turning the ball over.
Yeah. John, Casey, what do you guys think?
I don't have too much to say about these players, really. I mean, I can see why Maxey went. I mean, there's not really too much left he can accomplish in college basketball. And I don't think his stock really will improve unless he had a monstrous sophomore year, which I didn't think that was realistically probably going to happen. So I think he made the right jump. Khalil Whitney, didn't agree with that decision. That's all I'm going to say.
No.
And yeah, that's about all I got from those players.
John, what you got?
Yeah, Tyrese is definitely NBA ready. He'll be, if not a lottery pick, he'll be top 20, I think, draft pick. And then Whitney definitely wasn't ready. Like Wyatt said, I mean, if you can't make it UK, what makes you think you can make it NBA? Just not a logical thought, really. And he could have gone somewhere else and really improved his stock, whether it was Illinois or somewhere else, and had a good next, jump with another season, new team or something like that. Maybe just need a new environment. And then Hagans, he had 2, fairly productive years and, starting point guard, and he'll get drafted. I don't know if it'll be first round, but his time, I think, was up at UK.
I definitely agree. I was big on Khalil Whitney coming into the season. He was one of my favorite prospects that we had. I mean, of course, you had Tyrese Maxey, who was lights out in the Michigan State game. But I don't know. There's something about Khalil Whitney that I really liked. When he started heating up, that's when he left. So I feel like he left at the wrong time. He was slowly finding his stride and improving it each and every game, kind of. But not to the levels that Johnny Juzang, Keon Brooks, just the whole team in general. And Wyatt mentioned this a lot. Everyone improved but him too. So, or was improving a lot faster at that point. But, I wish him the best of luck without a doubt, I mean, whether or not, he leaves. But once Wildcat, always Wildcat. Unless you're Quad A Green, then you can screw off. But
I never heard this.
I don't
like Quad A Green. Quad A Green's like Quad A Green was like coronavirus for the 2018 team.
Oh my God.
Who's that one?
Ruined everything.
Notice how that team got better after he left.
Yeah, definitely.
Jared Vanderbilt.
Oh, I did not like
He's one of the
Vanderbilt
most
either.
forgettable.
Jared Vanderbilt. He can't call himself a Wildcat. He played for 5 games.
Oh, 5. I gave him 10. I guess I leaked from that.
He hated being a UK.
I did not like Jared Vanderbilt. He is not in my eyes.
But now he didn't go to the draft. Johnny Juzang transferred to UCLA. I didn't call this one. I will take credit for this one. I was saying either Kansas or UCLA because Juzang just sounds like a Kansas name to me for some reason. And plus, he's from. I mean, everybody can predict that he was in UCLA just because that's where he's from. He's like literally 10 minutes from UCLA. And great talent. He reclassified. So he's tremendous talent. I wish him all the best at UCLA. We're actually going to be playing UCLA in this next upcoming season. So if he's eligible, that's going to be a very good matchup for Kentucky, in the CBS Sports Classic. So that's going to be really fun to watch.
I hated that we lost Johnny Juzang because he was really starting to come on at the end of this season. And, I figured he was going to be one of our starters for next year and one of the guys that really helped us. And so when I got the notification from KSR that he transferred, I was like, oh, really? Because I thought he was going to be one of our better players next year.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. I just he was really coming into his game. He just in that Auburn game too, that at home, he was tremendous in that game as well. And even the game against Tennessee, which we lost, he was a rebound machine in that game. So, I got to give. I just wish him the best of luck. But my thoughts on Ashton Hagans and Tyrese Maxey, and Khalil Whitney. I don't think Khalil Whitney's going anywhere. He's not going to get drafted. That's a given, and that's zero disrespect to him whatsoever. But he is, Ashton Hagans has played double the amount of games he has, triple the amount of games he has, and he's still either mid second round or late second round. And Maxey, he's a lottery pick. He was a lottery pick when he came to Kentucky. We all knew he was going to leave after the first year. So, I wish him the best of luck, honestly. And so we still have Emmanuel Quickley and Nick Richards and possibly EJ Montgomery player for the draft. And even then, in a lot of the mock drafts I've seen, it has Emmanuel Quickley and Nick Richards going like back to back in like the 50s. So that gives me another question posed to you guys, and I'll give this to the floor, whoever wants to answer it. Do you think it will benefit both Nick Richards and the SEC Player of the Year, Emmanuel Quickley, if they stayed one more year in their draft stock? I'll give it to the floor.
Well, Nick Richards has been here 3 years. He might as well stay for his senior year. So, and he knows that if he comes back, he'll be a starter and he'll be the leader of the team. I don't think that they have like a formal team captain in basketball, but he would pretty much be our team captain and be a leader. Emmanuel Quickley, I think it's that since Ashton Hagans left, that gives me a little hope that he might come back again. Between the two, I thought Emmanuel Quickley was going to go to the draft before Ashton Hagans was, because I thought that Emmanuel Quickley had a better season than Ashton Hagans. But I could see a scenario.
And John, Casey, I'll let you guys take this one before I get my thoughts.
For me, I think he's probably going to go.
You think both of them are going to go, or just one?
If I'm talking about one, I'm thinking Quickley's going to go to the league. I think, he won SEC Player of the Year, which is a big accomplishment.
Over possible number one pick.
That's whatever sport you play, and I think that he maxed out probably his play. here at Kentucky. And he'll be a junior next year, and his numbers were phenomenal last year as a sophomore. So I think he doesn't have too much to prove as far as his stock, and I think he'll make the jump. Richards, I mean, there is a scenario he could come back his senior year, but honestly, I think Nick Richards is going to go too. I would say so. I think they're both going to go.
What do you think, John?
I think they'll both go as well. Nick declared last year, and he did not have any kind of numbers to warrant going to the NBA, but now he's got all that, and he had a great season. So I think he'll definitely declare, and then quickly had another, had a great year as well. Good jump for the sophomore season. So I think they'll both leave. EJ, I think, could stay more likely than the other two. Get better.
See, EJ went last year as well, and he didn't even get drafted to the G League. They don't even have a draft. But that's not to say he sucks, but it's just the NBA. You gotta be ready. You have to maintain a physical and mental well-being that he did not have at the time. So,
well, I could see a scenario. I could see a scenario where EJ Montgomery comes back and he ends up being the next Nick Richards next season.
See, that's what I always. Go ahead.
Well, because in the first 2 seasons of Nick Richards' career, he was kind of inconsistent. Well, not kind of inconsistent. He was inconsistent, but in EJ Montgomery, his freshman year, I thought went pretty well for him. I thought there were a lot of times where he just get bad calls from refs, honestly. But this last year, he struggled a lot in the beginning of the year, but he did get better. Similarly to what Nick Richards did in 2018. Is that right? Yeah, 2018. So yeah, I think that if EJ Montgomery comes back, I think he'll be a lot better.
Yeah, and I said this, right around SEC play, because obviously, I always remember watching the games. And I would always see Jack and Zach and Wyatt, and then John and Haley were always there too. And they would always be like, "Oh, EJ Montgomery, you dumb idiot!" Like they hated him. And
well, I used to say that when
I'm looking at you, John. I'm looking at you,
EJ Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean, Emmanuel quickly could turn the ball over and nobody would notice. But whenever EJ would do it, you'd be like, "Oh, you idiot!"
It's just the buffoonery. No, you see, that's the thing is I always said that if he came back, which I do think he'll come back, he will be Nick Richards, the junior Nick Richards that we had recently. He'd be the junior EJ Montgomery. With the class that we have coming in, I would love to see Nick Richards and quickly come back. Not only will we have a lot of veteran leadership, we have a senior and 2 juniors at that point. And then we'd also have a great young talent with Terrence Clark, BJ Boston, Devin Askew, and we also have a grad transfer. I think his last name is Mintz. I'm pretty sure I didn't catch his name.
I think he's from, was it Cornell?
Creighton. So he didn't play last year because of the ankle injury. What's that? What did you say, John?
Isaiah Cunningham was that said. I think it froze up though.
Wait, what was you saying?
Recruit. I was mentioning a recruit you left out, Isaiah Cunningham. We got him too.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We also, I think it was, I think Isaiah Jackson might be his name too. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, he's another good recruit. We just have a great class next year, and if all 5 were to leave, it'd be difficult. But it's not been, it's not like we haven't had this before. You look at the 2009, 2010 class. There were 5 Wildcats drafted in the first round alone. And the next year we went to the final, or what was it, the Elite 8 maybe? Final 4. We went to the Final 4.
Final 4. That was the next year was Brandon Knight.
Yeah, that was against UConn. So, but that was. But
I think that if Nick Richards were to come back for his senior year, could you guys see a scenario where EJ Montgomery transfers?
It's difficult to say just because, I think EJ would be starting as well. Because we didn't get a grad transfer, with height. We got a grad transfer who's a point guard, take over for Ashton Higgins. And Would that be? I don't think he would transfer. I do think he'd stay just because you're not going to get a better coach than Coach Cal.
That's true.
And he develops great young talent and molds them and shapes them into great superstars in the NBA. And if EJ wants that, or if he just wants the money now, he's going to go. But if he wants to be shaped and molded, have a Nick Richards type season, he's going to stay. So, but I do think Nick Richards and Immanuel Quickley are going to go. But my heart tells me that we could have a platoon system next year. If they were to stay, you got the reigning SEC player. The SEC Player of the Year. Honestly, they both had monstrous years. But you compare that with great young talent you got coming in. Plus, you got Dante Allen, who's recovering from injury, and he's a stud too. He's right here from the Commonwealth himself. So, I think they would. I think it'd be a tremendous team next year. Regardless if they leave or stay, I think it's gonna be a tremendous team. So.
Well, Dante Allen was dropping 53 per game in high school, and we haven't even seen him play in college.
Yeah, no, he's lethal.
Yeah. Do we know how his recovery is coming along? Because I know he tore his ACL his senior year, and then he got in a car wreck, and was it dislocated shoulder or broken collarbone?
Broken collarbone. That's what it was. He's good to play now. Honestly, like if we had to, he probably would have seen him in March Madness play. So that's I do think he'll play a little bit in the summer if they're able to play in the summer. But yeah, I definitely think we'll see him next year. Not as a starter possibly, but I do think we are going to see him play a lot more. So that being said, we're going to move on to the NBA draft. We got a lot of bright young prospects coming in into this draft class. It's one of the weaker draft classes, in my opinion. It's nowhere near what it was last year, where you had Zion, John Morant, RJ Barrett back to back. You have Hero, John's favorite player on the Heat over here.
No, dude, I just love seeing it. Mam's actually my guy, but Hero, man.
We had to get one. In. So, but we had a great draft class this past season for the NBA. This one, compared to that one, is nowhere near as stacked. It's more than likely going to be Anthony Edwards as the number one pick. But who is one guy that you guys have seen
Calvert
so
was
far?
screaming at him the whole game. Calvert ripped Anthony Edwards when we were at Rome.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. We went to that game together. We got free ice cream at Rupp Arena. He didn't score any points in the first half. We scored more points than he did.
Yeah, the fans were giving him hell for it.
That's just Georgia basketball for you.
But he heated up a little in the second, but we got the dub.
Casey, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't like Georgia in a lot of sports.
Georgia football and basketball. We don't like
Georgia
football. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Save that for a later day. Guys, what's that, John?
I said, keep it together. Hold your composure.
Hey, I'm trying my best over here. I like to tap.
You're the host.
Got 430 people over here. About half of them can hear me. Gosh, no. If you're tuned in already, we do appreciate you watching. Share this with all your friends. Let them know. We got the Wilkins brothers, of course. We got Jack behind the scenes. We got Wyatt Oxley too. We're going to move on to the NBA draft now. Like I said earlier, before I lost my composure, John, we got a lot of good draft prospects coming into this draft. Anthony Edwards predicted number one. You got the likes of Obi Toppin. Gosh, there's so many. It's just hard to name them all, I guess. I can't name them off the top of my head, but those are the two big ones. You got James Wiseman, who's coming from Memphis, I guess you could say. You got LaMelo Ball too, so it's going to be a crazy draft class. Who is going to be the steal of the draft in your guys' opinion? I'm gonna leave this one with Casey and John because they're the big NBA guys. So I want to see what they say.
I haven't looked at this class a ton. Let me think. A whole lot, but I think whoever gets Tyrese could get a steal. I think he might slip a little bit, and I feel like the team would get. He's one of those Kentucky guys that had a pretty good season in UK, but weren't just crazy special, completely obvious, and they'll get to the NBA and be even better. I think Hero was like that last year. He had some moments, and I knew in the NBA he'd be more of that NBA type player.
Yeah, that he kind of reminds me a little bit of a mix between like, and I'm not saying he's like this good, but kind of like a mix of Malik Monk and Jamal Murray. You know, Malik Monk, was scoring, 20, 30 points a game when he was here. Put up 44 against North Carolina. And that was spectacular. I can see him doing that in a game as a rookie for whichever team. I don't know which team he's going to go to. A lot of mock drafts are saying he's going to the Timberwolves. So if him and Karl-Anthony Towns got together, that'd be a pretty cool match or pretty cool team up right there. But I can definitely see him being the type of rookie to drop like 50 in like his like first game, and then just like kind of just get by with at least 10 per game after that. So something like that. But no, I think he could definitely be a steal. I'm gonna go. I mean, I do think LaMelo Ball. It's hard to choose because he is super good. But we've never seen him play. We've never seen him play up against Giannis, though. That's the thing.
He needs to put some weight, but his skill, set is definitely NBA level.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards. He kind of reminds me of Anthony Bennett a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know if he'll be. I mean, he's projected number 1. Could we see another Anthony Bennett possibly? He went to Georgia. Didn't do all. I mean, he was pretty good. He was pretty good at Georgia. We can go to the Warriors, make them stacked again. Who knows? It's a big what ifs. But I think James Wiseman's gonna be the steal.
That's what I pray that the Warriors don't ever get stacked again.
Yeah, they're going to.
Wiseman's the best player in this class. Like
Wiseman
is kind of underrated a little because of what happened to him.
Yeah,
he has a lot of he has things you can't teach. How big and strong he is, and I think he has a little bit of a game where he can step outside and hit a shot as well. And
yeah,
he's a pretty good interior defender. I think that's really hard to find a complete true 5 in the NBA. There's very few, and I think his ceiling is up there. And I think he's a very safe player too. I think a lot of these other players in the draft have more of a bust status than he does. I feel like with him, even if he doesn't turn out to be a superstar, I still think he's going to be a solid starting center in the league, though.
Yeah,
I think it's a high floor.
I completely agree. Wyatt, your little brother, he's talking. He said Edwards is not that good. LaMelo Ball is a beast.
He said Edwards not good.
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Wyatt.
Little brother, it's siblings day. Wyatt, rejoice.
Man, I was so happy when we beat Georgia, not once but twice. Because I remember, I think it was like during winter break when we played them the first time. It was down there, and they had they sold the game out, and they had like Quavo and all these, like celebrities from like Atlanta were there.
Yeah.
And
Brutus, damn it.
Did you guys hear that?
Is all set there?
No, that's why they lost.
Who's dogs?
Brutus, damn it.
Yeah, he's acting fussy.
Hey, it's okay. The more the merrier. Let's do this.
But yeah, Anthony Edwards. That's not it, Chief.
You don't think so? Who do you think it is? Who do you think's the steal of the draft?
James Wiseman played like only a handful of games at Memphis, but I saw some of his highlights and he's unreal.
Yeah,
it really is a shame that he didn't end up going to Kentucky because had he come to Kentucky, I gotta believe things have been a little different.
Like EJ wouldn't be playing very much.
Yeah.
Well, if he had come to Kentucky, there probably wouldn't be a junior EJ Montgomery. So
Sestina either.
That's true.
I don't know.
I did not like Sestina. He let me my hopes down.
Man, Joe doesn't like Sestina. Oh man, I love Nate Sestina.
No,
I will say this. I like.
He's a chick magnet.
Nate Sestina was like the poster child.
That's exactly.
I did like Reed Travis a lot better though. I love
Reed Travis.
I like
Reed Travis. He was
is like the if you were to take the song like Hard in the Paint and like give it to a person, it's Reed Travis.
Yeah, it's the anthem of Reed Travis. Nate Sestina, like our dear friend Derek says, he appealed to the fan base. So,
He appealed to the fan base.
yeah. We're just gonna leave that there, interpret it the way you want to.
Yeah, we're not gonna get that misconstrued in any way.
What's that, Casey? I got the number 1 jersey. I can get it. And represent Nate Sestina.
That'd be disrespectful. Whoever wore
I'm good.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, we had Lynn Bowden wear number 1. So that's a little
great player. I mean, he was our entire offense. So
that's true. That's true. So let's go ahead. So during this quarantine, I've been reading a lot. I have been playing a lot more video games, and I've been trying to get into hockey. And so here's the thing. I've always said that I've been a Predators fan. It's because they're in Nashville, right?
Yes.
However, I don't know many of the players. And I don't know a lot about hockey. I texted John.
Forsberg, goal.
He texted me about Sim Fred's players. Like, he's a beast. And I was like, who's that?
I said Johansson. I said Johansson's a beast. I love
it.
I said Johansson's a beast. I love him. And John said, "Who's that?" I said, "He's a Preds
Ryan
player."
Ellis, is that one of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
How come I know your team better than you do?
I know like 3 or 4 players from the team. I'm not that educated as a fan of the Predators.
So that's why they're still at the top of my list. I've narrowed my list down. I have the Boston Bruins, George Truly Wyatt.
Yep.
I have the Nashville Predators. I have the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I have the New Jersey Devils, the Calgary Flames, and I had one. Wyatt, do you remember who else I said? I had 6 teams.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
And the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was disrespectful, Casey. That was mean. I heard that.
There was some intent behind that. There was some intent behind it.
2 minutes slashing.
What about the Detroit Red or the Blue Jackets?
That's Jack's team. Jack over here, he's a big Blue Jackets fan.
I like the Devils, or don't say the Canadians. We don't like the
No,
Canadians.
So here's the reason I have the Devils on my list is because I bought NHL 20 because Wyatt recommended that buy one of the NHL games. so I did that. And so I made him my player, and I got drafted number 1 overall, might I add, to the New Jersey Devils. I went to the New Jersey Devils, and our first loss was actually to the Montreal Canadiens. So they were definitely marked off my list. But Wyatt, you got some insight on some of these teams. I want to hear some of these.
So let me ask you, do you want positives or do you want dirt? Because I got dirt on all of them. I got both.
Let's go with the positives. We need a lot of good news in this world, so let's go with the positives.
All right, so I took the liberty of taking a few notes. All right, so with the Bruins, they won the Stanley Cup 6 times, most recently in 2011. Unfortunately, it was not last June, but that's a conversation for another time. Passionate fan base. They are a consistent playoff team, championship contender. And, for those of you at home who do not watch hockey, I decided to take each team that you gave me and give them an equivalent of what they would be for the NFL. And for the Bruins, I had their NFL equivalent as the Green Bay Packers. Good every year, consistent, championship contender. If they suck, it won't be for an extended period of time. It'll be for a year or 2, and then they'll be back. For the Predators, they have not won the Stanley Cup, but they made it a couple years ago.
The Capitals are out because of that reason.
Capitals?
Yeah.
Well, because
Capitals are off my list. They're off my list. Alex Ovechkin.
I can't disrespect Alex Ovechkin.
He's good. He's good.
He's too good.
I was rooting
He's
for the
OP.
Predators that year.
Actually, I think it was that year. I think it would have been the Penguins that they played.
Penguins beat us.
Yeah, that was the Penguins then.
They played
the
the
Capitals,
Cowboys
2017.
Man.
It was a lot.
Anyway,
Yeah, we don't mess.
Capitals are off my list anyway. Penguins, all they do is slide on their bellies. That's weird.
Not saying, just saying. But
So, yeah,
the Predators,
exactly,
the Predators are a consistent playoff team. So they'll make the playoffs. I can't guarantee you how far they're gonna go, but they'll make it. Your next team, the Golden Knights. Casey has some feelings on the Golden Knights. Would you like to share?
Probably not a good time.
I don't really like them.
I don't like the Winnipeg Jets either. So,
That's John's least favorite team. I know that for a fact. Don't be a Winnipeg Jets fan. I'll disown you.
Well, Isaac, you asked me which teams you wanted to cheer for, and I told you if you wanted to piss off John, pick the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like them either.
But the NFL equivalent of the Predators, I had the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, gross.
Oh, Calvert, you love them.
Water.
Calvert, Cam Newton.
Hey, I will say, I do have a lot of respect for the Panthers organization now for what they did to the Falcons. That was beautiful. If you haven't seen it,
They put them in the dirt.
oh my gosh. As long as they have Teddy Bridgewater, I don't mind if we lose to them. Just because of what happened. So why it continued though? That's funny.
The Golden Knights, they have not won the championship, but they made it in 2018, which was their inaugural season.
So that's what got me interested into them.
Well, they're a good team. They're actually the team that had they had the playoffs, I would have picked them to come out of the West. And then the New Jersey Devils. Actually, no, one real quick. It was kind of hard for me to pick an NFL equivalent for the Golden Knights because they haven't been around very long. But I get kind of like a Seattle Seahawks vibe from them. John, I know you hate them, but I kind of got like a Seahawks vibe.
I was going to say Houston Texans.
Houston Texans?
I don't know. I think here's the thing with the Houston Texans. You can't compare them to anybody. I think my Little League ball coach from 10 years ago would have been a better GM than Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien is terrible.
He's a dumbass.
I could run a team better than him.
Well, I mean, the difference between the Golden Knights and the Texans is when the Golden Knights go in the playoffs, they actually have a shot to like go to the Super Bowl or their championship.
They don't really a 21-point lead.
Exactly.
Texans did against the Chiefs.
I think you froze. Well, you say that,
against
but
the Chiefs. That was funny. That was funny.
I mean, you say that, but the Golden Knights blew a 3-1 lead last year. So, and then
I like the Texans a little bit.
The what?
It's like the Texans a little bit.
Got to represent Texas.
Casey, you might be more right than you know. Then might have to change my pick.
Gosh,
and then
that's awesome.
The next one you said was the Devils. Is that right?
Yes, New Jersey Devils.
I like it.
3-time Stanley Cup champion. Last recent coming in 2003. They've kind of sucked recently, mostly because they had like a core group of players, and they're all like in the league this season.
Okay, though.
I will say, PK Subban, former Predator, and Kyle Palmieri, I think is his name.
Jason Palmieri.
Yeah, him. He's super good. On the game anyway, he's super good. But
on the game,
on the game he is. In real life, I've never watched a Jets game, so who knows?
Well, the New Jersey Devils are not very good defensively. They can score. They can score like 3 or 4 goals a game, but the problem is they got to prevent the other team from scoring 6 or 7. So, but
that's true.
I said that their equivalent in the NFL was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good in the early 2000s, but now they're kind of made up of wash-ups from other teams.
But they're coming for the Saints this year.
Take it.
Tom Brady. He's going to outgun Breeze. Calvert's going to cry.
And then the Calgary Flames. Hey, Isaac, I'm trying to help you out. I'm just trying to move on here.
We're not talking about NFL yet. Hold on.
I know. I like to give him problems, though.
Remember, like,
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great podcast. All right, Wyatt,
It was
move
fun
on,
while it lasted.
please. For the love of God, don't bring up the NFC South again.
So the next team, the Calgary Flames.
Panthers back.
Wyatt, continue.
Cover
Calgary
the whole
Flames.
division.
Calgary Flames. Why should I like them?
They won
Miami
the Stanley Cup once.
Okay.
They have nice uniforms, by the way. I think they do at least. They are from Canada, so naturally they have a really heated fan base. They typically have a good team. They've been good the last couple of years. They're pretty good this year. One thing that you probably should know if you're a Calgary Flames fan is you have to hate every other team in Canada. So
Okay.
the Oilers and the Canucks are going to be the two teams that you dislike the most.
No, okay. Yeah, I understand that.
And this comparison, the NFL comparison, I think is pretty good here. I had them.
Before you say it, they sound a lot like the Saints.
No, it's not the Saints.
No, okay, got you.
No, I wouldn't hit you that low. That's
Appreciate it. Because they've only won one title. Their uniforms look cool as hell. They hate all the teams in the South, so like it just sounds like them a little. There's some comparisons. But go ahead.
well,
What
I
team you got?
picked the Chicago Bears as their team. Haven't won a title since the '80s, and you have the Bears are in the same division as the Packers, and the Packers kind of own them. Where the Flames are like 3 hours away from the Oilers, who have had the best player of all time play for them.
That's true. Wayne Gretzky, best of all time.
Call him the Great One,
That's right.
Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
He's good too. All right. What about the Maple Leafs? Why should I like the Maple Leafs?
You shouldn't.
Okay, mark them off the list.
Albert, Justin Bieber's a Maple Leafs fan, so take it as you want it.
Wait, who's the Maple Leafs fan?
Justin Bieber. So
And
take it as
Drake.
you- And Drake.
Actually, the Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup 13 times, but they haven't won it, and they haven't been there to the finals since 1967. And so, unless you want to be like disappointed all the time, I wouldn't mess with them. But that's just me.
You want to know the only reason why they're on my list?
Because the uniforms.
No, because the movie The Love Guru. You ever seen that one?
No, I've never seen it.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's such a bad movie, but I laughed my ass off when I saw it when I was 8. So it has Mike Myers as a love guru. He's trying to fix this relationship for this pro hockey player for the Maple Leafs. So I don't know. That's why they were the first NHL team I heard of was the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Calvert, what's your thoughts on the Blackhawks?
Blackhawks. So I know that Max Singer likes them, and he's a Cardinals fan. He's a Cardinals fan, a St. Louis Cardinals fan. So I don't know how that works. I'm a Saints fan and a Braves fan, so I guess it works itself out. But
Yeah, I guess it does.
the Blackhawks, I know a lot of sorority chicks have I don't know, is it Patrick Kane? Is he on there?
Yep.
A lot of
88.
They have a lot of jerseys. A lot of sorority chicks have a lot of those jerseys. So instantly off my list because of
It's only on my list.
I respect the Blackhawks as an organization, but like whenever they're good, their fans are just obnoxious.
See, I know he's one of my favorite wrestlers, CM Punk. He's a huge Blackhawks fan. So that made me like kind of root for them back when they were like I think they were in the Stanley Cup against like it was 2014 maybe, I don't know. They were in the Stanley Cup a couple times this decade, and I was kind of rooting for them just because of CM Punk. But
They won it 3 times in 6 years.
Yeah, and then I saw the sorority chicks wearing them, and I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't know about it.
Sharks.
Sharks, they have cool as hell uniforms. Nothing else is in San Jose though. So.
Oh, that's true.
Well, they're kind of more San Francisco.
Their
Well, that
fans
answers
are the
that.
worst. Their fans are the worst.
Says every fan base is the worst.
Well, because most fan bases are the worst.
Every fan base sucks at one point or another.
They're not for my team. They suck. That's essentially Calvert's saying.
Well, every fan base has something that they do that naturally pisses you off. Like Tennessee football, like the Tennessee football fan base is like the worst. They are the worst kind of people. Like online.
Tennessee fan base is the worst.
Well,
I hate the Tennessee Volunteers, though. I do. I hate them a lot.
That's just the truth. Every
What's that, Casey?
Every fan base has that fan that just ruins it for you.
Did I ruin the Saints for you? Did I?
No, it was ruined like at least 20 years before I met you.
Honestly. I know what you mean, though. I know there are a lot. There's those
from the moment I met you, you asked me, like, can you guess my team? And I looked at your cup, and then you go, Saints cup. I was like, dude, I hate your team. You're like, why? I'm like, dude, I've hated that team for a long time. It has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with you. You might be a shit person, but you're not the reason.
You're not the reason why. It's all Buster.
Yeah. He's got the Michael Thomas jersey, so when we go to the game, we're gonna be repping Breeze and Thomas. So, but I appreciate all the insight. I will pick my team here soon. I will root for them. Will possibly do it.
Devils.
Oh, see, the Devils. I feel like if I were to become a fan of them, they would never win anything.
Well, here's the rule, though. You never pick the best teams when you become a new fan.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because bandwagon.
Bandwagon, exactly. So you try to pick a shitty team. Excuse my language. You try to pick a team that's not as good and then build your way up. Like Garrett Enspaw, he's a Jaguars fan. He picked them because they sucked, and then they were good for 2 years, so he talked about them, and they sucked again. So he has 2 years of fun.
I think he picked them right when they went to the AFC Championship.
Actually, 1 year. Let me correct myself.
Isn't he a Colts fan now?
Well, I think I heard he liked the Colts, and the Colts started sucking.
Gosh, any team Garrett Ansbach likes just goes to shit. The way it seems to go.
I agree with you. Like he ruined Purdue basketball for me. I swear to God.
Yeah. Hey, Matt Harms might be coming to Kentucky.
Basketball, it was over. Like,
he's insane.
I started. I'm like, let's go IU all the way.
Yeah.
I hate IU.
I can't with Indiana. I can't.
I hate Indiana, but when I was
Garrett Enspack or not, I can't do Indiana.
The way I was actually finding myself rooting for Indiana.
Point, like he was just like the nicest in that moment. Well, I remember because I made a bet with Alex Kallman. I remember this because I said if they beat Tennessee in the tournament, I would take a picture and post it online of me in a Purdue jersey, and that happened. It popped up in my memories, and I just felt so dirty wearing that damn thing. I hated it so much from when they made like such a big deal out of it. They were.
Well, you got to think of it this way. I mean, Purdue and the Saints have very similar color schemes.
That's the thing. Like I felt like I was just wearing the Saints jersey in a basketball uniform, But Breeze did go to Purdue, so that's what makes it less. That's what makes it less sucky, I guess. But I will root for Purdue anytime I'm not watching it with Kyle Rance back. So that's what I'm saying. So,
I do like Carson Edwards though. He's a baller.
Oh yeah,
Carson Edwards is dope. He's a dog. He's awesome. But
plays for the real team.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, by the way,
I got Taco Fall from another black and gold team. So yeah, it's
I don't know if our audience knows this or not, Isaac, but I'm a Celtics fan too, like Casey. I got to say, Casey, I think Danny Ainge has done a great job drafting ever since he's been our the general manager of the Celtics. Because basically, if you look at the last year when the Celtics drafted, they drafted basically like they drafted a lot of the really good college players that weren't like superstars. You know, you had Grant Williams, Tremont Waters,
Exactly.
Carson Edwards. Yeah.
Sorry, you said Grant Williams. I just threw up everywhere.
I didn't like Grant Williams at Tennessee, but
That's because of Tennessee. I don't care that I'm a Lakers fan. I don't care that he's on Celtics as long as he's away from Tennessee. You know, gosh.
what were you going to say, Casey?
Well, I thought they did a good job because they got a lot of guys that were very solid, like collegiate players that may not have the highest upside in the NBA, but they're safe players though, because you know they're going to give you a little bit of some good play, whether that's from a starting role or a reserve role or just a rotational piece. I think that's something that they did well with, and they did get the young, talented guy from IU, Romeo Langford. So he was a big time high school prospect when he's coming out. So
He's big at
I actually
Indiana.
did a job of mixing.
I saw him play a couple times when he was in high school because my cousin went to Carmel High School up in Indy, and they would come down and play New Albany High School where Romeo would play, and I saw Romeo play a couple times. That kid was unreal in high school.
Yeah,
my cousin's team was really good, but
It's gonna be weird having an Indiana guard and a Purdue guard on the same NBA team. So they have Indiana and Purdue with like two like great players on the same NBA team. So like I bet rivalry weekend is very fun in the NBA with them.
That's kind of how that worked out.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and move on. We'll thank you, Wyatt, for all the considerations for NHL teams. Thanks for the positive thoughts. Do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Soon. I know Casey's very excited for this. We're getting into the bulk of the show. We'll talk a little bit not NHL, excuse me, NFL draft. Both of the Wilkins brothers big on the NFL draft. I remember me and Jack Nichols went to the premiere of Avengers Endgame last year. We offered to buy them tickets and have them go. They're like, no, we're going to watch the NFL draft.
Okay. I watch it every year, man. It's like a holiday for me. I love it.
That's awesome. I mad respect for that. So I'm gonna give this segment to you guys. I took UK basketball / NBA draft. Why took the NHL? I'm gonna give you guys the NFL.
Okay.
I think you guys are very expert. You've got a lot of expertise on this subject.
Well, thank you for the
Take
compliment.
it away, host John and Casey.
You want to take this first?
You want us to like talk in terms of like the top picks or like what our teams we think they should pick and your team too? Or
Let's see. Let's not talk our two personal teams. Let's talk who we think like let's do like a mock draft of sorts.
So cover like everybody, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
we can go like 1, 2.
You want to start at one?
Just like we'll just do like top 15 picks, maybe top 10.
You do you, baby. You do you.
Number 1 is I don't think the Bengals are moving. They're gonna lock in there and get their franchise quarterback. It's Joe Burrow. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Like Bengals have picked like this in a while. I mean, they've been very mediocre the last couple of years, but typically they don't pick very high. Surprisingly, they haven't made many top 5 picks or anything like that. So
when you've had Andy Dalton for as long as you have had, like something's wrong with your franchise.
By the way, I forgot to mention this. The NHL comparison I had for the Maple Leafs was the Bengals because they both suck and they're not good in the playoffs.
Bengals never won any.
At least the Maple Leafs got something.
Yeah, Bengals don't have any.
It's been 60 years, but they got something.
Yeah. Bengals have been around for a long time.
So I got Joe Burrow and
Okay, so I got to do the Redskins, a team don't like.
Oh, Redskins.
Okay, so the Redskins have the second overall.
To the Redskins.
And hearing a lot of like rumors. Some people want to say that they might try to trade back or take a quarterback at that spot, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to take it as it is, and I think they're going to take the best player in the draft and Chase Young. I don't think they're going to think twice about it. I know they've been drafting defense like crazy the past 4 or 5 years overall.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's too elite of a talent. Like that guy's, I think he's the safest player in the draft. And I think he has a very high chance of being a superstar in the league. And
I remember when I went to the Saints and Titans game, we went with my friend. I went with my friends Tyler, Nate, and Drew. Drew's a big Redskins fan. He's not a big Redskins fan. He's a Redskins fan. And you can't be a big Redskins fan. Come on, you know.
Well, it's possible. I know people.
I don't. Anyway, he's a Redskins fan, and they were facing the Giants. And basically in that game, because they had the same record, whoever lost that game got Chase Young.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, you're right.
And so we were like, because we were watching the game, you know, the live game going on, my New Orleans Saints, Tyler's Tennessee Titans, and we just kept checking the scoreboard to see who was going to get Chase Young.
Yeah.
And it went to overtime, and Dwayne Haskins blew it. So, thanking for Chase Young.
Well, he'll get his Ohio State buddy back.
There we go.
So I think he's going to go to the Skins, Chase Young. All right.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
you got a controversial pick because a lot of people think the third pick is where the draft really starts.
Yeah,
Because it'd be a big trade.
So.
And that,
Well, I'll do a trade. I'll say the Lions trade down because, you know, they've already got a lot of good pieces, and why not pick up some more picks from another team? The Dolphins move up to the third pick in the NFL draft, and they pick Tua, quarterback from Alabama.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say that's the move they made.
yeah.
QB1.
So when I think of the third pick, I always think of Jeff Okudah. I think he goes to the Lions.
I didn't
I've seen
see
that
it.
a lot, but I mean,
Well,
they just trade away Slay and they signed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
They did. I mean, having a great duo with Chufan, you know, and Okuda would be a nice luxury, but you know, trading down to overall balance the roster, I think would be more beneficial to the Lions.
well, here's the thing, though. If they trade down anyways, the Lions, they have a great chance of still getting Okudah while getting an extra pick. Honestly.
That's true. That is true.
Because the Giants, I mean, at the fourth pick, which I won't get into in much detail, I don't think they're probably going to take Okudah. I mean, they could, but I've been hearing reports that they have their eyes on different players, especially two in particular. So, I mean, I actually would not be opposed if I was a Lions fan or a GM to trade down. I would trade down probably if I was the Lions. Because if you still want Okudah, I would say you have a good, like, 65, 70% chance of still getting the guy, maybe even higher percentage to get him.
Definitely.
To move up. I mean, they have 3 first-round picks and like
2 seconds.
2 seconds. They can outbid anybody if they want to move up in the draft to get a
Yeah,
quarterback.
definitely.
14 total picks, most in the league.
Yeah, so I think
Wait,
that's
how many picks you say they have in this draft?
14.
that's a-
Wow.
yeah,
They control this draft by far.
and they have multiple first-rounders next year's draft as well. So
That's
the
impressive.
cards
That's like
are in their
if you
hands.
gotta suck so bad to get 14 picks. That's kind of impressive.
It is.
Well, they just trade everybody away. They're
Wait.
just like, we're rebidding, we're restarting.
Yeah, they had a complete.
We'll
overhaul.
deal with Fitzmagic. You know, we got a third-round pick coming in, baby.
Hey,
Did
someday.
I hear a
Bad-
scenario where the Dolphins could get Tua Tagovailoa and DeAndre Swift in the same round? Have you guys heard about that? Or am I just making that up?
That could
That can
happen. That's actually a realistic chance that it could happen. They could get him, or they could potentially get Jonathan Taylor or JK. That could happen.
Because I
That'd be
remember
lethal.
hearing where they were probably going to get Tua and then, another high end, either running back or wide receiver.
They could. I mean, if I was a Dolphins fan, the dream would be to get like Tua, Jerry Judy, and Swift. If you told me I was a Dolphins fan, I was getting those 3 players, I'd be more excited about that team in 20 years or something.
I'd mark them up in the AFC East if they got all 3 of them guys.
They'd be the second best team in the AFC East, in my opinion, already.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So the 4th pick. Let's move on. Okay. So that's the Giants, the G-men, New York Football Giants. Okay. So with them, we know that they have very bad issues on their offensive line. It's very evident. They need to protect their quarterback, Daniel Jones, and Saquon. But their GM, Dave Gettleman, he likes to do things differently. He's outside the box. I mean, you know him pretty well, Calvert, from his time with Carolina.
Yes.
I think the type of player he will take, which I don't blame him, I think it's going to be Isaiah Simmons, outside linebacker, Clemson. He's a freak of an athlete.
Dude's a freak of nature.
He is. That man, they asked him at the combine, draft coaches and analysts, like, what position do you play? He goes, I just play defense, because he literally plays everywhere. Like, he played everywhere at Clemson. Like, Dabo had him.
No, he was dirty in Clemson.
Oh my gosh, and Brent Venables, they literally played him at every position. Like, you name the position on defense, he probably played at least 3 snaps there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I think it's going to be Isaiah Simmons, and I would hate that as a Cowboys fan, because I don't want to see a good player like that go to the Giants, and it sucks because the Skins would get Chase Young, and then the Giants get Isaiah Simmons. They got to get good players, and those guys.
Could be worse. You could have Tom Brady in your division.
That's true, but then again, he's 43. It's not like he's got too many.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So,
Breeze is 42.
he's tread right
got
behind
another
him.
year.
So, but yeah, I think the Giants will go Isaiah Simmons, and I think that is a good pick for him. But I wouldn't be shocked if they went O-line. No.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
If they're going to go O-line, they probably want to draft Andrew Thomas from Georgia. I think that's what
he's-
he's
I
he
think
was good.
people were really high on Andrew Thomas, but he's kind of slipped a little bit. Like, he's still a first-round grade, but a lot of people really like. I think his name pronounced Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
Louisville.
Ryan Becton from Louisville.
Yeah, which I know he went to Louisville, and I know you have your feelings about that one, but he is.
No, I mean he was a beast.
Yeah,
He was by far the best player that they had on their offensive line, which isn't really saying very much, but he was really good.
He's from Lexington, right? Jedrick Wills. Like, he played high school
Yep.
here in Alabama. I think he's going to be a stud in the league, probably, as a tackle. And there's who's the other? Tristan Wirfs, I think Iowa. People talk about him. So this draft class is loaded on offensive tackles.
There was a lot of
Logan
tight ends that
Stenberg.
come out of Iowa last year, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah
Hawkinson,
Fant,
same.
Hawkinson,
I was going to say Hawkinson was the one that I thought of.
Brandon Wright did not like that pick.
He hated it.
So,
He hated it so much.
okay, so you have the 5th pick. It's the Lions since they traded down.
Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Lions, well, he's still available, right?
He is, like I said.
Jeff Okudah. They get their guy, and they get a duo with True Fan and him, and their Slay replacement since they traded Darius Slay away. And he's just a great young corner, and those guys are hard to come by. And they picked the best player available,
I
too.
mean, the guy has a lot of upside. He's compared to Patrick Peterson and Jalen Ramsey. And not too many players get mentioned in that same sentence as far as like sheer athleticism and talent. So
What school did he go to again?
There's something about Ohio State and their secondary that's just so damn good.
but there's one
Marshawn
other
Lattimore.
there's one other
Von
you know
Bell.
what's funny though? There's one other collegiate school that's known for DBU. I think they just won the national title.
LSU.
Louisiana State.
I would say
Bengals.
LSU and Ohio State, they're the 2 best defensive back schools.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Without a doubt.
they produce elite NFL players from those positions. Like, it's
And running back, too.
yes, they both do bring good backs into the league. Okay, but you got Okuda, which I don't. I mean, if I was the Lions,
I'm gonna let y'all make a couple more picks, and then I want to know. Sorry for interrupting. I'm gonna let y'all make a few more picks, and then I'm gonna ask you guys, since you are our designated Patriots fan, I want to hear your thoughts on Tom Brady and who you want to draft, because you have the pick before the Saints. So your pick could decide our fate. So
So after the Lions, it would be the Chargers.
We can just do the top 8 picks.
Yeah, I'll start speeding through. I'll start spitting them out. For them, they don't have too many holes. They could go offensive tackle here. It could be Jedrick Wills or Mekhi Becton. But I know Tyrod Taylor is not a bad spot starter in the league, but I don't think he's going to be the guy forever. He might be a year or two, and I think they're going to take Herbert from Oregon.
I was going to say Justin Herbert. I could see him as one of those quarterbacks that fall, kind of like Johnny Manziel was.
He could.
But he's good. He's a great pickup.
And I think they might let him sit a year or two and learn Tyrod Taylor. And then when he's ready, they'll put him out there. All right.
Definitely.
Panthers. So.
Panthers. Calvert had a nice little grimace there. Well,
Hey, they're cool with me now.
they lost a lot of. They kind of switched now from a defensive team to offense. They lost a ton of key defensive players in free agency, and And then they added Teddy Bridgewater, obviously to the offense, and Robbie Anderson. So I think they're going to stay on the offense side of the ball, and I think they're going to pick a tackle. Was it Andrew? I'm going to say they picked the Mike Beckton or however you say. Yeah, they get a tackle for Teddy to protect him. I think they have a problem there. They just lost somebody, I think. So I think they need to revamp their line. So I think that wouldn't be bad.
Louisville alumni going to the Carolina Panthers over here. So
I'm going to pick them to get him.
Okay. I'm shocked because I thought a different player would go to the Panthers. But I can see tackle. I didn't really think about it. Number 8 is the Cardinals. So with the Cardinals sitting here, they have O-line problems, and obviously they've been trying to build around Kyler Murray, and they just traded for DeAndre Hopkins not too long ago. I think the Cardinals would love to get a tackle here, but I think with the fact that one player fell to them,
I know you're talking
that they're going to take him. I think they're going to take Derek Brown out of Auburn.
That's a good
that
player.
Guy is a
hot take over here. I like that.
Derek Brown is a man. Like that man can shut down the run. He is massive. Like
he's good. He's
game. I mean, that man dominated Alabama and LSU offensive lines.
That was they were spectacular.
It was. Yeah, I like Derek Brown, and I think the Cardinals. Typically, I would give him an offensive tackle, but the fact that Derek Brown was available, I think they would just go like he's too good of a player to pass.
Right. Oh, definitely. Always great insight from you guys. Love your football analysis. Even we might not have the same teams, we might not have favorite players, whatnot. Just hanging around you guys, I've learned a lot more about the game of football, so it's always great to get some more insight. So, Wyatt, I want to get to you real quick. Resident Patriots fan over here. By law, you're a Boston fan, so we're just gonna say you're a Patriots fan. What's it been like, knowing Tom Brady's gone and who do you think you should draft with the 23rd?
Well, I've been strayed away from the NFL over the last couple of years. Just because I've been paying attention to other sports. But Tom Brady had been the quarterback as long as I'd been a fan. I started being a Pats fan in probably like 2003. Because I remember my stepdad took me to a game when they played the Colts in 2003. It was actually when Willie McGinnis helped the Pats get that goal line stand. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that game.
Yeah.
But I was at that game, and I don't remember it, but I was there.
You witnessed it.
But I remember, Tom Brady was just the franchise guy. Like he was kind of like, he was the staple. He was kind of, he was like Derek Jeter for the New York Yankees, Casey. And
potentially.
And I understand why he left. And I think it was time for them to kind of move on. And I heard a take that from Adam Luckett, who actually works at KSR. He seems to think that Belichick was ready to kind of move on from Tom Brady and prove that he can win with somebody who isn't Tom Brady. But I was also talking to my stepdad about this the other day, where part of the reason why he left was because their offensive line was so bad this year that they couldn't protect him. The Pats had a good defense this past season, but yeah, they had a great defense. And one of the all-time, they had an all-time defense, but their offense could only put up 14 points a game. So you're expecting to beat other teams 14-10, and that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And
I think
that, like I said, I guess it was just time to move on, and they still have good players there. Still got some pieces to build on. But
pieces to build on. You get the 23rd pick in the draft. Who are you picking? You go offense, you go defense. I mean, you already have the stellar defense. You got the McCourty twins coming back. You got Stephon Gilmore, probably the best lockdown. A guard for Jared Stidham. Do you draft a quarterback, wide receiver? Who do you draft?
Well,
Jordan Love.
I have, well, one of their biggest problems last year was they didn't have the tight end, because Rob Gronkowski retired the year before. And so I definitely think they need a tight end. They also need another receiver that isn't named Julian Edelman. And I was actually looking right now while you guys were talking. I was looking at some of their draft needs, and this is according to Boston.com. And it came up that if we were to draft a quarterback, we could pick Jake Fromm, quarterback out of Georgia. And
wouldn't that be some shit though?
That would be.
I can't see Fromm playing there. I mean, him and I guess Simon Bell's there, his teammate.
Yeah. But they don't need a running back. If they're going to go with receiver, according to this article here, they could go with KJ Hamler. KJ, is that his name?
Penn State, yeah.
Yep. The speedster from Penn State. But I can't believe that nobody has mentioned the receiver tandem that came out of Tennessee in this last draft, which is Marquez Callaway and Juwan Jennings. I don't think the Pats would draft them.
Yeah, they got Juwan pretty late in the draft because he didn't run a good 40. But he's a very physical player. I actually played against him in high school because he played for Black.
Nice.
But that's a story for another day. But he played quarterback back then. So, but I like him as a player. Like, he's very physical, but like he's just not the most explosive guy. So,
Yeah,
but like I think he has a chance to be a decent player in the league. I'm not saying he won't be a superstar at all, in my opinion, but I think he could be a decent role player.
I think Marquez Callaway has a better shot at being a better player than Juwan Jennings. I think Juwan Jennings is too little. Marquez Callaway's a possession receiver. He can snag on people.
Definitely.
He did it to Kentucky for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
I think if they're going to go in the first round, they should probably draft offensive line, because that was their biggest issue over the last season. And I know that over the past couple of seasons, Belichick has been putting a much bigger emphasis on being able to run the ball. And so I think if they're going to want to run the ball, they probably should go ahead and draft offensive line. Because I remember a couple of years ago, my stepdad and I, we went to the 2013 AFC, and we went up there to the game, and it was awesome. And that was the game where LeGarrette Blount ran for like 270 yards and 4 touchdowns on the Colts.
That's
and
pretty
then,
cool.
Was that
in the same? That was the year before, and then a couple.
Okay. I had to ask if that was the
And then in November of 2014, we went to see the Colts play the Pats in Indy. It was a regular season game, Sunday Night Football. I remember all these Colts fans were, super hyped because Andrew Luck and all this stuff. But that was the game Jonas Gray ran for like 250 and 4 touchdowns. So,
Danny Amendola with the touchdown. Al Michaels and Danny Amendola.
But I remember, those 2 games in particular kind of drive home my point that Belichick really wants to run the ball. And he's also one of these kind of coaches that actually was the day after the game, because the Pats blew him out in Indy. And one of the Indy radio stations was saying, Belichick finds what you're not good at. He hits you with it, and they will bully you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happens.
That's all good points right there too. Obviously they need some offensive weapons, because their O-line ran Tom Brady out of New England. Brought him down to Tampa Brady, they call it now. And so that makes it a lot tougher for our division. I'm a Saints fan, it makes it a lot tougher for our division. The Saints, so they have the 24th pick overall. And a lot of mock drafts.
I know that we'll go ahead and say that KJ Hamler was their pick.
First round?
So the Saints can draft literally anybody in this draft right now. Their biggest needs, however, are I don't know. This is before the signing of Emmanuel Sanders, but quarterback, wide receiver, and linebacker. And that being said, if we were to draft a linebacker, we go Patrick Queen out of LSU. You know, he's your boy, Casey. He's your boy.
I like him. He's
LSU boy.
he wants him. That's his favorite player.
Calvert.
He wants him. John wants him on the Packers.
I really hope we get him now.
I like
Wring your
Queen.
neck.
I think Queen's very good.
Queen is a stud.
He's very athletic.
Queen's a stud. So we have at linebacker. That would be my pick if I were Mickey Loomis, the GM. I would pick Patrick Queen. If not a linebacker, if he's gone, wide receiver. A lot of them are saying Justin Jefferson. You know,
I like
good
him.
ball.
You're saying
You're
all the
taking all my players.
I'm telling you, it's another LSU. They're all LSU guys, so obviously they have some intentions for New Orleans earlier. So that's probably the least correct pick. And at quarterback, a lot of people are saying Saints are going to get Jordan Love.
I like Love. I like his talent.
Love is a stud. That's the thing that worries me, though. And I do
Because
think
that's
we are going to.
possible. That's the thing.
I do think we are going to pick a quarterback, though, because you saw today. I don't know if you saw it or not. Breeze is signing with NBC for Sunday Night Football once he retires. You know, so we're definitely going to need a quarterback to help Taysom Hill. You know, so it's going to be a long shot, but whoever they draft, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, they tend to do well in the draft here recently. So I'm trusting whichever one they pick. So, but it's going to be one of those three guys, in my opinion. I think it's going to be either Jordan Love, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Queen. If it's 2 out of the 3 that John likes, I'll take it.
Well, honestly, I like Love too. You took 3 of my 4.
But we're getting one of them. So
Kenneth Murray was the other one. Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma, the
He's good,
linebacker, was another guy I'm really interested in.
yeah, I know. Yeah, he's
I think with
Saints
our
were looking
pick-
at him too, but I want Queen.
All right, enough with your Saints. Your pick's done.
So, John, another another linebacker that you guys could
Calvert
consider
is the
getting
cheater.
is
Okay. So,
You ready
oh,
for your
where's
Packers?
one? Say something
yeah. I
like-
was gonna say if there's another linebacker that you guys want to consider, Daniel Batuli from Tennessee. He was a stud for 4 years. I think in the game against Kentucky, he had like 16 tackles or something like that. But
Malik
I mean, it
Harris-
helps that we ran the ball up the middle for most of it. But
I think he's pretty good. You know about him, why? Malik Harrison, Ohio State. I
Yep.
think he's pretty good. I think he'll be a good player in the league.
So since we picked 30th, I don't think like Queen, Murray, or Jefferson are that logical. So personally, I think we're going to make a trade in the draft, and we're either going to trade up to get one of those guys, we're going to trade back and get more picks. I don't think we're going to stay put at 30. So if we trade up, I think we're going to get either Queen, Murray, or Jefferson. If we stayed put, I would say we'd probably pick Love, the quarterback. And then if we traded down, I think we'd end up getting guys like Raekwon Davis, is that his name? Interior D lineman from Bama.
Ross Blacklock. TCU.
Malik Jefferson, is that what you just said? The linebacker, Ohio State.
Malik Harrison.
Harrison, him, like those kind of guys
Yeah.
in the second round. But those are the kind of guys I'm interested in. But if we stayed at 30, since you already took Queen,
What about
was that
Denzel
your pick,
Mims?
Calvert?
Yeah,
Queen?
we'll go Queen. We'll go Queen.
Yeah, I'll say we get Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma linebacker.
Either way, we need linebackers.
Yeah.
real quick, did CJ Henderson from Florida, did he declare for the draft?
Yes, I saw.
About CJ Henderson related to the Cowboys? Very simple.
Oh, well, see, that's interesting because
God,
I
he
saw
left.
a mock draft. I saw a mock draft with the Falcons taking him. So
That's
I hope
my
Cowboys-
biggest concern.
So
Do I have
hope
the-
the
I
Cowboys
have the
get him.
floor? Do I have the floor right now for my Cowboys with their pick? Or what I think?
Go ahead.
It's hogging all the airtime. It's
Go right ahead, Casey. I do apologize.
No, it's all good. I just didn't know if we were done with the Packers or not.
No, we're done.
Okay, you're pissed about Patrick Queen,
John.
Go eat your mozzarella
Calvert
and your
ruined this for
provolone.
me like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so we had the 17th pick in the draft. I don't know why we started with Calvert, Wyatt, and John.
Calvert.
'Cause my team picks earlier in all of them, so we were worse.
Pick before everybody.
Because That's what I'm saying. Okay, so going on Cowboys. Well, we're the 17th pick, so obviously Patriots and Packers by a little bit of a decent margin. And we're kind of in a weird spot, the 17th pick, because it's like middle of the draft. And you kind of hope that some good players slip and fall. Because, like, for me, I'm really hoping offensive tackles start getting picked so it can drop other players that I like down the board. And I'm hoping quarterbacks go too. Let them all just start getting drafted down the board. But it's really weird because I would love to get, for us, defense is our biggest need. But if it was up to me and one of those stud 3 receivers are available, which I don't think they will, most likely. But I would love a guy like Jerry G or Henry Ruggs. But I'm going to be available for mocking you them there. You can see Caleb Chason, LSU, potentially. D tackle, maybe Javon Kinlaw falls, or if it's a long shot, maybe Derek Brown falls from Auburn. We could use a safety because our two starting safeties will be free agents after this year, which is kind of a concern. So maybe we trade back and get a guy like Xavier McKinney or Grant Delpit from Alabama and LSU. But
Grant Delpit would be a steal at the 17th pick.
I love Delpit, but he's been slipping though even more. So I think we could trade back and still get Delpit, Wyatt. And because a lot of people have concerns about his tackling, but I'm not too concerned about that. That man has all the physical attributes you could want in a safety. Like if I were to build a safety in the lab, he's kind of the player I would build. He has what you want. But going on about it, if I had to stay put 7, it's gonna be tough because I'd like a corner, but I like a lot of those corners like Trayvon Diggs from Alabama. Jeff Gladney from
Calvert loves
TCU,
Trayvon Diggs'
Christian
brother.
Fulton from LSU. But I don't like those guys at 17. I'd rather trade down. I don't feel as good about them at 17. I love Jeff Okudah, but you'd have to trade up a hell of a ton to get him. But that's just not going to happen, most likely. CJ Henderson, I liked him, and I thought the Cowboys were in on him. But, he had an amazing combine, CJ Henderson, so I don't think we're going to get him probably now anymore. And I think at the latest, he'll probably go Atlanta because Atlanta's corners are terrible. Like the Saints and Buccaneers and Falcons are dying to play. Not the Falcons. Panthers are dying to play Atlanta's secondary next year. They're going to kill them. But I'm going to say Dallas. John.
Dallas. Oh, double minor.
I'm going to say Dallas picks Caleb Chason, LSU DM. That's who I think we'll pick. Go Dags.
I mean, those are solid picks, too. I mean, you can't really go wrong with a pick in this draft unless it's Trayvon Diggs. Any Diggs in the NFL can screw right off, right? But no.
Oh my goodness. I hope
just DIGTS in a jersey in the Saints organization ever. No, I'm kidding. No, he's a great player, though, for real. Those are all – I mean, you can't go wrong with a pick in this year's draft, really, just because they all bring something different to the table that each organization can use differently, So, I believe that is all the time we got. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had quite a few viewers come in and out of the podcast. It was quite a long – I'm not sure how long it was.
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So it's been one of our longer ones, but it is a special as well. So we do appreciate you tuning in, during this trying time in the world. Hopefully we offered some entertainment. Me and John throw jabs at each other all the time. So future roommates, but it's gonna be really fun stuff. But no, we do appreciate you guys watching. Wyatt, Casey, John, I do appreciate you, and Jack as well for putting this whole live stream together.
I want to thank Jack for his great insight for us.
And his prisoner picture. It was a joy to look at the whole podcast to see that picture.
No, but definitely, just want to thank Jack for putting the whole podcast up for us. We
absolutely
couldn't be doing this without him. He's about a part of the crew, so we appreciate and love you, Jack. Wyatt, as always, great co-host. Couldn't ask for a better one. Best guests in the world, John and Casey Wilkins, celebrating National Siblings Day the best they could. Baskin Robbins can only handle so much of John. After a while, they run out of hair nets.
Come by tomorrow night. I'm working 4 to 9.
And social distancing.
Oh, oh.
John, let me ask you. Like, are you growing your hair out just like so people stay away, or is it just you like it that long?
Oh!
Thank you, Calvert, for the kind comment.
Oh my God, John, I'm kidding. I love you, buddy. You're awesome.
No, Howard,
2
right
minutes
now,
slashing.
I'm just thinking of Step Brothers because of John.
You're not a doctor.
You're not a doctor.
Oh my God. Tell John to come back in.
Oh, he's gone. He left.
He's gone.
He's gone.
It all started with Patrick Queen. That's what I was.
Yeah, we took Patrick Queen and talked to us.
Went downhill from there.
No, we do it for real, guys. We do appreciate you joining. I always have to throw a jab at John. It's always fun. So
It's always fun.
yeah, it's like golden entertainment, honestly. So do you guys want to give any shout outs while we're out here?
Shout out to the medical community for, working all the hours and sacrificing. Shout out to everybody who's staying home and trying to do what they can to prevent it so that we can get back to normal life and doing sports. So
Yeah. Definitely. Casey?
I don't really have a special person to shout out. The only thing I wish for, hope for, I guess, is just that this virus ends, man. That's about it. That's all I got.
You want to shout out at John? Tell him to come back.
Hey, John. Calvert wants to speak to you, bud.
Oh my gosh.
Who's coming here for this?
Okay. I was about to say, let's I know he wants to give a shout out to old Haley. We need to say hi to her. John, get in here. Give a shout out to Haley. Tell her you love her.
Yeah, stay safe, Haley. I'm gonna see you next. Haley's birthday's a week from today, April 17th.
Happy
21st.
birthday. Happy birthday.
So I'll be going.
John, I have a
to-
5-page paper due on the 17th.
What is it, Wyatt?
I said I have a 5-page paper due on the 17th. Oh, happy day.
Find some time to enjoy the day. What's your paper
Eat
about?
a piece of cake for Haley.
I don't know. I'll figure it out on Monday.
Oh, I got a shout out. So,
Go ahead.
My legendary grandfather, his birthday is on Tuesday, April 14th.
Oh, okay. Shout out to
Yeah.
the legend
He's
himself.
82, so he's getting a little older now.
82, driving 85 in the city. Oh man.
Me and my dad are
I'm gonna give a shout out. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs actually. Shout out to everybody watching. Our dear friend Spencer Pike and her father are watching. They're down in Florida watching, so appreciate them tuning in.
Oviedo.
They're good people. Oviedo. But anyway, give a big shout out to them. They're huge supporters of the podcast. Yeah, like you said, Wyatt, I want to shout out all the people in the medical community for what they're doing to fight this virus. I want to give a shout out to everybody who's staying home as well. Social distancing, stay 6 feet apart. If you need that, laid out, I'll lay on the ground, stay that far away from somebody. So, but no, I do want to give a shout out to them people. Definitely a shout out to the professors at UK, transitioning from, in-class assignments to going online. I know it's been difficult for them as well. But yeah, like you guys said, once this is all over, I actually wrote a story about this for my journalism class. Once this is all over, like this world's just gonna be like so much better. So, we're gonna have sporting events. We're gonna, just big shout out to everybody, helping fight this disease, and shout out to everybody watching today too. Anybody got anything else to say? Speak now, forever hold your peace. We good?
Those who don't social distance, they're probably Tennessee fans. Just saying.
Thanks for that comment.
Or Georgia or Florida.
No,
Why
they're
did you get
Tennessee
that
fans.
St. Patty's?
No, actually, I didn't. I got a different one.
Dang it.
But I
Albert.
will not. I will
I
not.
convinced them.
Well, you kind of did. Calvert, you saw a picture of it, didn't you?
Yes, I saw a picture of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
No,
one
it
that I
looks cool.
actually
It looks
got.
awesome.
It's not.
Whatever you
It's not
say,
green. It's not green. Just in case you're wondering, John. So I will. I will be able to wear it 365 days a year, as opposed to one.
Yeah, I heard it was.
Wyatt, I'm so sorry I crushed your dreams on that jersey, man.
Actually, you know what? I appreciate the fact that you crushed my dreams on that jersey because I got one that was better.
Oh man,
So it was a blessing in disguise.
there we go. There we go. Oh my gosh. Just to give, okay, all right, I'm going to tell the story real quick. We've just got some context. We got a little bit more time. So anyway, the story that Wyatt was telling, he was going to order this St. Patrick's Day jersey. It was a Bergeron jersey for the Bruins. And he asked me and John, we were playing Madden. He asked me and John, he said, what do you guys think about this jersey? We're both like, oh, it looks cool. And then Wyatt was like so excited. He's like, maybe I can buy this. It's for sale. I got gift cards.
He had like Visa cards and he wouldn't have to pay any like of his actual money. He was like, I might be able to get this without having to use my extra money. And Calvert said,
It all went downhill from there.
Calvert literally turned and Wyatt's all like Christmas Day happy and jubilant and jumping around. And Calvert's like, are you seriously gonna get that? And Wyatt dropped. He was all of his excitement just got sapped out of him, and Calvert was cackling like
I felt the color come out of my face when Calvert said that.
it was straight.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Zero Disrespect Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. That story just made my night again. I know we want to thank you. I want to thank you guys for joining in, and we hope to do this more here soon. We still got a lot of schooling left, but we'll definitely be in touch with you guys. If you want to see more of this, just let us know, and if you want to see more topics talked about, just let us know as well. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we are unique people with different opinions, different teams, and obviously we love John's hair and his love for LSU players that the Saints are going to get. Anyway, this has been the Zero Disrespect Podcast. John, Casey, we love you guys.